Hi everybody, this is just a quick video to demonstrate the lens I've got on eBay at the moment, this Tokina. It's got a slight infinity focus issue that some folks have been asking me about, so hopefully this video will just be able to clean it up and explain what's going on. I will open the window in just a sec. It's quite windy, so if you stop being able to hear my voice, sorry about that. I'm just using the onboard mics. So, I'm recording this video at 4K on a Lumix GH4. So it's sort of the highest resolution I can achieve really to show what's happening with the lens. Now there is a mount between the lens and this camera, but I can say that the same problem does show up on my EFS mount lens as well, so it's unlikely to be the mount. It seems to be happening regardless of the camera body or the connection system between the two. It's how any sort of camera is producing the same effect. So I've got it at the moment on F9, I think. Yeah, we're at F9, which I might just open up a touch there. Okay, well, that's 8 there. So I'm going to open the window now. Now at the moment, we are at 11mm on the lens, all the way to the hard stop infinity. I can't physically turn the lens barrel manually any further over. Now, what happens, what seems to happen, is when I zoom in, this will clear up slightly. So I'm just going to zoom in on my field monitor here. There we go. So I'm kind of looking at the car over the road there really to judge this. So as I zoom in on the barrel, don't know if you can see that there, but just focusing for a second on the car registration plate, if I come away from infinity, it seems to slightly clear up to me, so that's obviously coming out too far. But if I hunt back in, that looks pretty sharp to me. There. Now if I go all the way to the hard, actually more like there really, isn't it? If I go all the way to hard stop infinity, it kind of goes a little softer. So that's what I'd say is as sharp as it can get. That actually, at the hard stop, softens up. If I do the same thing, so I've left it at the hard stop on 11, if I come away back to 11mm, and then try the same thing again, it just simply drops out of focus. There's no sort of definitive hard focus until I get to the hard stop at infinity, and even then it seems to my eyes to be a little bit soft when you're looking all the way zoomed in. In contrast, now it's not too bad. I mean, like let's say like this is stuff that's really you really have to look for it. However, if I was to open right up, so let's go all the way wide open. That's 2.8 on the lens now. I'm just going to try and get the same sort of look using the ND here. Okay, let's leave it about there for now. Obviously that effect is much more pronounced, so now I'm looking at this shot at 11 on the lens, all the way to infinity, and I just can't say that that looks like hard focus. It's almost there, but it's just not quite achieving it. So as you can see, that's right out, and then all the way to the hard stop, it still doesn't quite get there. Now in contrast, I'm going to punch in again on the 16mm. Again, this is all the way wide open. Now that's hard stop infinity. If I come away towards close focus, I'd say that is much more like in focus on the vehicle. So it kind of shows the infinity focus point on this focal length at 16 is actually slightly off infinity, and if I continue towards infinity it softens up. So we can kind of see we've got a slight par focus issue here. If I hold that there, what I consider to be the good focal point at 16, zoom out again, you can kind of really see that that's just not getting it in the background there. and I've got to roll to infinity to achieve anything that's like a good focus, but still not quite there. Same thing, you know, if I'm looking at something closer in the foreground, let's take this little handle on the window here. I know it's moving around a little bit in the wind, but it's not really changing distance at all. We're at 11 now. Now that looks pretty good to me. That looks pretty sharp, but on the lens that's saying the object ought to be around 2 meters away, which it absolutely is not. It's probably no more than about 50 centimeters from the sensor, maybe sort of 60. Now if I do the same thing again as we've done before, so I'm going to just roll in, 16. I think you just saw then that the handle went right out of focus, even though I've not adjusted the focus at all. If I try and get focus on that handle at 16, that's coming in pretty sharp there, and that's reading much more accurate, about 70 centimeters on the lens barrel. So the long and short of this is, at sort of 16mm, this lens is behaving correctly. It's achieving infinity focus acceptably, even wide open, and it's getting close focus at the same distance as written on the barrel. The more you zoom out by 11mm, that's the point seems to be shifting. So, you know, here I am looking at those leaves down there now, and I'm all the way in an infinity now, and they're only just about coming into focus, and they're probably about 6 meters away from this camera at the moment. So, you know, it just means that objects even further into the field, such as those houses over there, just aren't ever going to be quite sharp. I mean, they'll be sort of just about acceptable. They'll never be as soft as that, but they won't sort of get that kind of pin sharp background until you stop down, of course. So just to demonstrate that again, if I come all the way down to something like f8 there, open up this ND, then that's much more acceptable. Thank you.